Hey everyone, welcome back to another explainer. We usually take complex global shifts and break them down, but today we're looking at something absolutely massive. Saudi Arabia isn't just trying to become the next Dubai, they're aiming for something much, much bigger. We are talking about a literally mind-boggling commitment, well over $1 trillion allocated to mega projects under their Vision 2030 banner, with over $100 billion specifically targeting transport and logistics alone. And the objective here isn't just a simple economic pivot. The goal is a total transformation. They want to shift from being a traditional oil giant into the absolute center of global trade, physically and digitally connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. I mean, if they pull this off, Saudi Arabia could cement itself as one of the most important and influential logistics hubs of the 21st century. So let's dive right into this, because realistically, you can't talk about Middle Eastern logistics without talking about the undisputed reigning champion. For decades, Dubai has entirely dominated supply chains in the region, right? Global cargo has just consistently flowed through the mighty Jebel Ali port, and massive international companies have naturally set up their regional headquarters in the UAE because of that incredibly reliable infrastructure. So the central question we really have to ask today is this: can Saudi Arabia's unprecedented capital and sheer scale truly challenge Dubai's decades-long dominance in global supply chains? To understand this massive logistics gamble, we first have to understand the immense urgency behind it. For most of modern history, the kingdom's economic engine has been powered by one single commodity: oil. It built their modern cities, funded their healthcare, and gave them a massive global footprint. But Saudi leadership sees a pretty stark geopolitical reality. In a rapidly evolving post-carbon world, relying on a single fluctuating energy export isn't just a vulnerability anymore. It's an existential risk. They are literally in a high-stakes race against time to build true long-term economic resilience before global energy markets permanently shift. They urgently need to construct an entirely new, sustainable economic engine. And that urgent need is exactly why Vision 2030 was launched. It's this comprehensive nationwide transformation program designed to spark entirely new sources of growth across the board. The plan aims to radically expand everything from tourism and heavy manufacturing to mining, cutting-edge tech, and renewable energy. But here's the thing: logistics and transportation are totally unique among these growth pillars. Why? Because logistics doesn't just create local jobs or isolated revenue streams. It creates massive global influence. The countries that physically move the world's goods inevitably become critical, irreplaceable nodes in the global economy. It's a strategic playbook Dubai mastered decades ago, and now Saudi Arabia is unleashing the capital to build its own supersized version. Now, when it comes to building that influence, Saudi Arabia is starting with an absolutely incredible, undeniable natural asset. Just look at their highly strategic geographic position. To the east, you've got Asia. To the west, Europe. To the south, Africa. But the waterways are the real prize here. The kingdom has direct, practically uninterrupted access to two of the most strategically important bodies of water on Earth: the Red Sea and the Arabian Gulf. Think about this for a second. Roughly 12% of all global trade passes through the Red Sea alone. Very few countries enjoy direct access to both coasts, giving Saudi Arabia this built-in geographic cheat code to intercept and facilitate trade between three continents. To capitalize on that prime geography, the kingdom launched its national transport and logistics strategy. And the absolutely crucial point here is that this isn't just one giant vanity project. It's a massive, heavily integrated ecosystem. They are pouring money into expanding deep-water ports, building completely new international airports, establishing sprawling industrial zones, laying down vast rail networks to connect the coasts, constructing dedicated logistics parks, and then, the real kicker, wiring it all together with cutting-edge digital infrastructure. Every single piece of this puzzle is designed to work seamlessly together, creating an environment that makes moving goods through Saudi Arabia faster, cheaper, and fundamentally more attractive for international business. But out of that entire sprawling ecosystem, port expansion is the absolute foundation of this revelry. Why? Because around 80% of all global merchandise trade by volume moves by sea. Just let that sink in. 80%. You simply cannot move the needle in global trade without massive maritime capacity. So if Saudi Arabia truly wants to become a logistics powerhouse and genuinely intercept trade flows on the world stage, ports are where that transformation absolutely has to begin. To capture that immense maritime traffic, the kingdom is pouring heavy investments into three critical gateways. First up, on the Red Sea, there's the Jeddah Islamic Port. This remains one of the most vital anchors in the region, sitting right on those major east-west shipping lanes. Second, over on the Arabian Gulf Coast, you have the King Abdulaziz port in Dammam, which is essential for accessing Gulf markets and supporting heavy industry in the eastern province. And third, well, they're developing entirely new next-generation assets, most notably the Port of NEOM. What makes NEOM so fascinating is that it's a total blank slate. By building completely from scratch, they don't have to navigate or tear down decades of outdated legacy infrastructure. They can just build the maritime hub of the future right from day one. But here's the thing. Modernization isn't just about pouring more concrete to build bigger ports. It's about building smarter ports. Imagine this scenario. A colossal cargo ship arrives, but predictive AI has already analyzed global routing data to spot and eliminate potential yard bottlenecks before the ship even docks. Then, completely autonomous systems and robotic cranes assist in rapidly moving containers through the yard with zero human delay, while real-time cargo tracking lets international shippers see exactly where their goods are across multiple digital platforms instantly. In modern logistics, speed and predictability matter just as much as sheer size. And these futuristic smart ports, they are designed entirely around that core principle. Now, when most people hear the word NEOM, their minds immediately jump to the line. You know, that massive, futuristic, linear city dominating all the international headlines? But if you actually follow global supply chains, you know the real story of NEOM is Oxagon. Oxagon is being designed as an incredibly advanced, fully automated industrial and logistics hub sitting right there on the Red Sea. Its ambitious goal is to seamlessly combine heavy manufacturing, global logistics, state-of-the-art automation, and 100% renewable energy all into one single, unified ecosystem. Honestly, if even a fraction of the Oxagon vision succeeds, it could completely redefine how industrial hubs are conceptualized and built worldwide. Okay, but despite all these massive blueprints and billions in funding, we have to talk about the reality on the ground right now. Because, let's be real, Dubai didn't become a global logistics powerhouse overnight. They have a massive, incredibly hard-earned head start. Over decades, Dubai meticulously built up not just the physical infrastructure, like the Jebel Ali port, which handles nearly 14 million shipping containers a year, but also the invisible infrastructure. They have deeply established global trade relationships, highly efficient regulatory systems, and famously seamless free trade zones that allow companies 100% foreign ownership. Plus, local giants like DP World have expanded into dominant global operators. That reputation for friction-free efficiency and rock-solid reliability, that simply cannot be replicated in a couple of years. So when we compare the two, we see a truly fascinating dynamic. On one side, you have Dubai's deeply established assets, their proven regulatory systems, operational precision, and unmatched global connectivity. It operates like a finely tuned, highly efficient Swiss watch. On the other side, you have Saudi Arabia bringing raw, heavyweight power, a much larger domestic market, vast geographic reach bridging two distinct coastlines, and practically limitless investment capacity ready to disrupt the status quo. But here is the objective truth. This isn't a zero-sum, winner-take-all competition. The global trade ecosystem is massive and continually expanding. It is entirely possible, actually highly likely, that the global economy has more than enough room for multiple major hubs in the Middle East to thrive simultaneously. We aren't necessarily watching the replacement of Dubai, but rather the dramatic rise of a powerful new peer alongside it. So, what does this all mean for you? Why should the average global consumer care about an infrastructure race in the Middle East? Well, because behind every single online order you place lies a highly complex and sometimes incredibly fragile network of factories, ports, ships, and distribution centers. When countries like Saudi Arabia inject hundreds of billions into adding massive new global capacity, it directly impacts you. It reduces global port congestion. It improves the reliability of international shipping schedules. It gives global businesses far greater routing options when crises occur. Ultimately, it fundamentally increases the resilience of the entire global supply chain. When the next major global disruption hits, having diversified logistics networks could be exactly what keeps your local store shelves stocked. Of course, it is absolutely essential we provide a grounded reality check here. Mega projects on the astronomical scale of Vision 2030 rarely, if ever, unfold exactly according to the initial blueprints. Timelines inevitably shift, material costs increase, global market conditions change, and the underlying technology evolves faster than you can even build the physical infrastructure. This happens with mega projects everywhere in the world, and Saudi Arabia is absolutely no exception. Some projects will inevitably face delays, redesigns, or even scaling down. But make no mistake, the massive capital investments are very real, the dirt is moving, and the strategic direction of the kingdom is permanently locked in. Ultimately, Saudi Arabia's logistics gamble is a story about how nations compete in the 21st century. It's no longer just about who has the most natural resources. It's about who has the best infrastructure, the sharpest technological connectivity, and the boldest strategic vision. The countries that make global trade easier and faster are going to become the most influential economies on Earth. And speaking of technology completely rewriting the rules of logistics, you definitely won't want to miss our next explainer. We'll be diving into another major transformation: AI robots replacing warehouse workers. We'll explore exactly what jobs are being automated, the unexpected new roles emerging, and what the future workforce actually looks like. But until then, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. As billions of dollars are poured into the sands of the Middle East, altering shipping lanes and building these futuristic ports, ask yourself, who will truly control the future of global trade? Because the bold logistics decisions being made today in boardrooms and on construction sites across the kingdom are going to heavily influence global trade flows, shape economies, and impact our daily lives for decades to come. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.